So welcome back to my channel guys. Today we will be learning about forms in HTML. HTML forms are used to take input from the user, and that's why input tags is used a lot. We'll talk about this input tag. Apart from this input, we have this text area and the select tag, which is used for taking drop downs. This text area is used so that we can take a bigger set of information from the user. For example, we want to take an essay of 500 words, or we want to take address which is quite long, right? Or we want to take the query from a user, a big query. In that case, we'll use text area. But most of the time, input tag is used with different types. We have different type of inputs: type text, password, email, number, URL, search, date, time, month. So there's a lot of them, right? You can take a look over here. Apart from that, we have something called a form tag that will wrap all your inputs. It's not compulsory, especially when you're writing modern websites. Okay, form tags are mostly omitted. I like to omit it, but traditionally we used to use form tag, which contains a lot of attributes that we will be talking about, and it's the quickest way of sending data to backend, right? Okay, instead of writing JavaScript. So we will talk about it. These are different type of attributes that we have. We got action, method, enc type, which is type encoding, right? So let's say if you want to upload a file, right, instead of sending plain data, in that case you will write enc type as multi-part form data. We'll be only able to see its practical example when we're gonna use Node.js, so that we can actually take an input as file. Right now, let's stick to normal form data. Target, autocomplete, no validation, name. We'll talk about some of them. So let's code. So to practically understand form better, I'm gonna take this fake API which is present on internet. I'm gonna search for JSON placeholder API. Okay, free fake REST API. We'll be using that so that we'll be able to send data and receive data out of this. And over here, I'll be using these 10 users. So if you see, I do have some data about some users. So I got ID1, then name, username, email, and if I scroll down, I can see ID2, ID3, ID4, and so on and so forth. Apart from that, if I put a query over here, let's say ID is equals to 1. But I forgot to put a question mark here. And you can see that I'm getting only the first user with ID1. Okay, instead of writing URL, I can actually make a form which will do this, right? Which will get us the user with ID1 or 2 or 3, right? So let's try to understand the form tag as while fetching this data. So I'm going to take this basic URL from the user, okay, and we'll put it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a form tag here. Okay, it comes with this action attribute. Action attribute defines that when we're gonna submit our form, where the data will go, right? We want to send our data here, right? Because we want to send our query over here to JSON placeholder API /users. So I'm gonna put this exact URL here, right? And inside it, I can have multiple inputs, right? There are different kind of inputs. I'll start by putting this very simple input tag. It says type is equals to text, and this is what we get by default, right? If I'm gonna run my code at this point, okay, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting an empty input, right? And we actually cannot say that what exactly we need to put it over here, right? To do that, there are two ways to handle it. Either we can use a label, right? This label tells us that what exactly we need to put inside this input. I'm gonna say user ID. Okay, we need to take a user ID to fetch the data of that user, let's say. Okay, and to this for, I can put same thing. I'm gonna put ID over here. This for should be connected with the ID inside the input tag, and I'm gonna keep it as ID itself. So for and ID should be same, and what this will do is when I'm gonna run my code, and it will give me that hint, and I'm gonna click on it, it will focus my input. This is only possible because of for and ID. Okay, if they are same, then only this kind of behavior will be shown by the website. Otherwise you're gonna click on this user ID and nothing's gonna happen. So for and ID together, we got it. Apart from that, it's very compulsory that you keep the name attribute here. Name attributes are used so that we can actually send some data to our backend. Without the name attribute, the data won't go. So I will put name as ID, and we can also put this placeholder. This placeholder gives you a hint inside the input itself. That's the second way of showing hints, that what exactly user has to write inside the input. So putting placeholders and labels together, I always believe that it's oversharing. Don't do that. Also does not look that great. But yeah, for now, as we are learning, I'm gonna put an ID over here as 1, right? And we actually don't have a submit button. We should be creating a submit button here. I'm gonna create a button with type submit. Okay, so what would happen is when we keep a button with type submit and we click on that button, the request being sent to this action, right? Whatever URL we are present inside this action, the request will go over there, right? The data will go over there. So the button, I will write submit, right? And just run this. I'm going to put ID as 6 and click on the submit button, and you will see that actually I'm getting this data about a person having ID 6, right? I'll go back, and this time I'll write ID as 2 and submit, and this time it's giving me data about a person having ID 2, right? This is how a get request is being sent, which is the default behavior. Okay, get request is the default behavior, but we can change this behavior if I change the method to post. Okay, so we have two type of methods, get and post. Get is used whenever you have to fetch something, and post is used whenever you have to upload something, right? Post is more secure because remember these queries that we were getting. Let me actually show you from here. I'm gonna open this thing on a new tab. I'm gonna put some ID 5, submit. Okay, at this point I'm just getting ID 11 because I've changed it to method post, right? My method is post right now. If I'm gonna remove this method post from here, remove, come over here and reload. Now the method is get by default, and I'm gonna put something over here. Click on the submit button. You will notice that I can actually see ID is equals to 5. This is the data we were writing inside the form, right? We were writing 5 over there. We're clicking on the submit button, right? So whenever we have a get method, the data is actually visible to the URL, not very safe. So it should only be used when we are fetching the data. Okay, like on YouTube when we fetch videos, right? But if we are sending some sensitive data, right, like IDs and like passwords and email IDs and everything, then use a post method, especially when you want to upload things there, right? Or you're logging in or sign up or things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna keep method post back over here, right? And This time let's take a look again. Reload. This time it's not gonna give me the whole data, right? First time I'm gonna click on the submit button. It's only giving me the data which is I am uploading. It's just only showing that. It gave me ID 11 instead of I was writing 450 because of how this internally how this API is working. Because we had 10 users, the next one is giving me as 11. This is the default. But when we're gonna put some other data, it will show up, right? You can also see the URL is quite very clean. We don't have that question mark query and everything because it's a post method, right? Let's try to add some more inputs this time. I'm gonna add a label as username and there will be an input username again. Let's run this. You can see I'm getting user ID and username this time. To put them in different lines because all of these labels and inputs are inline attributes, inline tags, which means they will share the same space, right? Same line if the space is available. So I'm going to use a BR tag over here. Not a very great idea. We should use CSS to fix this, but for now let's work with it. I should have kept it here. Right, user ID and username. I need to check that the name is not just name. I need to keep it as username. Okay, I will do that. ID, I will keep it as username. For username, type text. Let's keep the type as text, no issue. Actually, you can make this one as number. You can keep this one as number. Placeholder, enter username. Okay, we are ready. Let's run this. Again, name attribute is very important. Without it, the data won't be sent. But at this point, as we have things, I'm gonna put user ID. Really does not matter, by the way. I'm gonna put it as 50 and or 11. Let's put it as 11. Okay, and I'm gonna put name as this. I'm gonna click on submit button, and you will see that this time, because of the post method, I'm getting two things here. I'm getting the ID as 11 and I'm getting username as Asim Sheikh 123. That's the data I was sending. This is how the post method works, right? You can have any kind of inputs here. So we talked about input tag. We have different types of it, right? Let's talk about some important ones. Type radio. Page 4. Gender. Type radios are used whenever we need to send or we need to select some information, okay, out of some given options, and we can only select one of them. For example, gender, right? When multiple genders are given, male, female, others, we can only select, we should be only able to select one of them. Okay, in that case, you should be using type radio. That will give you a tiny circular button. Though we have this circular button, this button belongs to what? We are not mentioning it, right? So for that, of course, you cannot use a placeholder for this one because there is not enough space so that the placeholder can actually be visible, right? So instead, we should be using a label. Okay, so I'm going to use a label for male. Okay, and over here I'll keep ID as male. That's cool. Name as gender. Name attribute is very important again for sending data, as well as when we're gonna put multiple inputs here. Let me put a BR tag here. We'll copy this and to this one. Female, right? Gender will be gender, of course. ID will change to female, right? The value should also be changed to female. Value attributes are also important to put when we are keeping the radio attributes with radio type radio. Why? Because when we have normal inputs, we can actually write values over here, but with radios we are just clicking on this button and making it active, as we are making it active, the value should be present here, so that the computer actually knows that as you are clicking on the first input or the second input, what are the values they have, right? It's time we run them. Let's see. My labels does not have this text here. I'm gonna keep text as male and female over here. Run this. Oh. Here we go. Let me click on male this time. Okay, and we'll click on the submit button. Okay, I'm getting gender as male. I was not filling the input, so it's empty, right? The username is empty. That's what is happening. Okay, I think things are quite very clear. We should be also talking about some of the constraints that we can put to our form. Just like you can see that, right? We were able to fill this or clicking the submit button even though I was not providing the username. So in some cases this should not happen. Okay, it must be compulsory to fill the username there, right? In that case, what I can do, I can make things required. Let me keep this button at the very bottom first here, and I like to make this username. I'm gonna keep this one as require. REQUIRE, required. Right, required means now we will be able to submit the form without actually writing something inside this input. Okay, and it will give us a message. Okay, as of that, let's see. So I'm trying to click on the submit button and see I'm getting this warning over here which says please fill out this field. Without filling this field, it won't let me move forward, right? So we have to have different kind of constraints that we can keep. We got required, we got max length, min length, right? Minimum, maximum. We can put a pattern over there, a regex pattern, a regular expression, right? Yeah, this is the basics. Okay, the action attribute, the method attribute we talked about. We should also talk about some other things. We got target. Let's talk about this last one. Okay, so target is used to decide that where does the response should open, right? When we click on the submit button, right, the request will be sent to backend. In our case, it's here, right? And this JSON placeholder API will send back some response. That response should be opened on the same page here or should be open on a new tab. That would be decided with target. Okay, if we keep target as blank, it will be always opened on a new tab. Fine, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna click on the submit button and you can see that right now the output is actually opening on the same tab because I didn't reloaded it. But as I'm gonna reload it now, let me go back and let me reload. Okay, I got this much of data, and now as I'm gonna put my information here, click on the submit button, you will see that it's opening on a new tab. Previous tab, new tab, right? So that's it, guys. Okay, that's is all you should know about the forms, right? So yeah, please like the video, share it if you have watched this much already, right? Also watch my other videos, right? Okay.